No, we have a wire. Have you selected Crist as your running mate?
We can do a press conference right here.
We can do a press conference right here.
Stick mic off.
Senator McCain back in the Sunshine State. We had a wonderful morning, went out to a little diner and had a great visit with some wonderful Floridians who were very warmly embracing the senator, John McCain.
Thank you. I'm always glad to spend time with Governor Crist, who's doing such a magnificent job here in Florida. As many of you may recall, his endorsement. It's a well-oiled machine we have here. His endorsement of my candidacy obviously was very crucial in my ability to win the primary here in the state of Florida. And I'm very well aware of the importance of the state of Florida in the general election. I look forward to working. It's a plot. Working closely with Governor Crist, not only as I seek the endorsement of the people of Florida in the general election, but also on the other issues, particularly on issues of the environment, the Everglades, hurricane protection and insurance, and other issues that are important to Florida and the nation. Could I just make one additional comment about the attack on the all right, now we'll try our third microphone here. The attack or the attempt to why don't I just stand here because it seems to be going on and off, and so that you can hear me and Charlie can join me. The attack or attempted attack on the recruiting station in Times Square today was obviously an act that is unacceptable in America. I know that Mayor Bloomberg, as well as other law enforcement agencies, are actively working, but we can't allow this kind of thing to happen in America, a place where we're trying to attract young men and women to serve in the military is an unacceptable situation. I've been assured that a full investigation is taking place, and I hope they bring the individuals to justice as quickly as possible. With that, I'd like to try to respond to the governor, and I would like to try to respond to any questions or comments you might have.
Senator, you're saying nice things about Governor Crist. Would you consider him as a possible running mate?
You know, I obviously, we have just begun that process, and we, in fact, have not even outlined how we're going to go about this. We're looking at how that process was conducted by other candidates and nominees of their party. But I know one thing about Governor Crist, and that is that he is a great governor. He does a great job, and I think that despite his allegations, otherwise, I think there are many ways for him to serve the country. But I also know that he committed to serve the state of Florida when he ran to be governor of the state of Florida. So the process is really open, but I know that Governor Crist will continue to serve this country in many respects in the future. He's still a very young man.
Senator, a lot has been made about your competitive advantage now going into the general with no Democratic nominee apparent for probably the next 3 months. But particularly here in Florida, you also have the advantage because Floridians have not been introduced to Democratic candidates at all. They've signed pledges not to campaign. To touch on that and think how that might help you going into the general election?
Well, I think there's two ways of looking at this. One is that having secured the nomination of my party, then in order to maintain visibility nationally, it's going to be more difficult, obviously, because I'm no longer in a competitive race, and there will understandably be more attention to Senator Obama and Senator Clinton. But at the same time, it does give me an opportunity to go around and shore up our base of support, unite our party and energize our party, and spend time, as Charlie and I have this morning, both with our financial backers as well as the people of the state of Florida. So since something like this has never happened before, it's hard to predict how it's all going to play out. I'm sure that knowing the importance of the state of Florida, as soon as that decision is made by the party, they will get to know the candidates very well. I don't. It doesn't matter. It's going much better in the last few days, and I'm sure it'll continue. I'm sure it'll continue to get better, but we have a lot of work to do. No, but my folks can. I honestly don't keep track of it that much. Yep. I can't answer a hypothetical situation such as that, because it would depend on the circumstances, what led up to it and all that. I will say this. It's very clear that there is involvement between the government of Venezuela and FARC. How significant that involvement is not yet clear. I think it's very obvious that FARC, a terrorist organization that kidnaps and murders and keeps people for ransom and sometimes indefinitely, in my view, is an organization that understandably the government of Colombia is seeking to eliminate. And I don't know the extent of Venezuela's involvement, but we will know in the future. Apparently someone just, that there's some documentation off of a computer that is very interesting. And we'll know more about it and the validity of it in the future. I support President Uribe. I'm grateful for the government of Colombia's cooperation with us in trying to stop the flow of drugs in the United States of America. I think Plan Colombia has achieved some success, and obviously the United States of America supports the government of Colombia and would assist if it were invaded. But very frankly, I don't see that scenario transpiring. I think it's not going to happen. The governor and I, and Mel Martinez and Senator Nelson have all been involved in negotiations to try to achieve that goal. And I believe that we can. I am confident we can move forward in a fashion that will not only be acceptable to Governor Crist and the people of Florida, but also could pass the Congress of the United States. We all know the present bill that was passed by the House of Representatives could not pass the United States Senate. We are aware of that. So in a bipartisan basis, we'll continue to work to protect the homeowners of Florida, Texas, Alabama, South Carolina, all of the coastal states that are subject to the catastrophe associated with a hurricane. I think it has to be an approach that also addresses the concerns that other states have, as including, obviously, the most vulnerable by nature of the coastline, the state of Florida.
Senator, even though the state of Florida does not really
Could I ask the governor to comment on that?
Sure. I appreciate what the senator has said and his open-mindedness, and obviously he has an appreciation for those kinds of scenarios and how they might help Florida in the future. But we're working on some of our own solutions, as you know, in Tallahassee. I'll be going back up there this afternoon, and we continue to address them along with our members of the Florida House and the Florida Senate.
Could I go back? I do not envision conflict, armed conflict between Venezuela and Colombia. But so I do not envision that scenario. But I do think we ought to investigate this information that was obtained from the computer and find out how valid it is and what the implications of that are.
The number one leader of the guerrillas of the FARC is actually hiding in Venezuela, and they're saying that the troops are mobilized to protect his camp in Venezuela so Colombia wouldn't attack.
I don't know anything about that information, so it's hard for me to comment. I can't give you answers to hypothetical situations which I don't have information on. We value Colombia as an ally. We value their partnership. The FARC is a terrorist organization that kidnaps and murders, and we will assist them through Plan Colombia as we have in the past.
As he mentioned, Florida does not seem much of Democratic candidates. It is typically Florida is typically a Democratic state. You're obviously coming back and forth since the January primary, trying to get as much support as possible. What are you doing as a
Well, I think that Governor Crist proved with his overwhelming victory that Florida is a, quote, state that a Republican can succeed in if you respond to the issues and the concerns and the ambitions of the people of the state of Florida. Florida is a diverse state, and we all know, and it is a hugely important state. So I will obviously want to be associated with Governor Crist, a wildly popular governor, Mel Martinez, our other congressional delegations, and mayors and other elected officials throughout the state of Florida. I believe that I understand the issues and challenges that face a very rapidly growing state, transportation issues, infrastructure issues, many other issues such as we confront in my home state of Arizona. So I'm confident that we can succeed here and win the state of Florida, but I also understand it requires a lot of work. And the first thing to do, with the help of the governor and Mel and others, is to re-energize our party. We've got to re-energize our Republican Party, not only here in Florida, but around the country. They were dispirited by the spending, out-of-control spending in Washington, and I intend to unite them, which we're making great progress in, and then re-energize them, as I saw Florida energized in 2000 and 2004 for the election and re-election of President Bush. Yes, sir. Could I do one more? Go ahead. Yeah. Absolutely. As soon as the political prisoners are freed, human rights organizations are functioning in the state of Florida, and free elections have been held, then I would sit down with any freely elected president or leader of Cuba. But until that day came, I would not in any way, as Senator Obama wants to do, legitimize an individual who's been responsible for education, repression, political prisons, and a gulag. I don't think that it would be appropriate to legitimize someone like Raul Castro by, quote, sitting down with them. And under no circumstances would I do it. Yeah. No, I don't know if he is naive or not. I know he's inexperienced, but that approach is something that I think would only serve to legitimize a person who has a many year record, decades of record of cruelty and oppression to the people of Cuba. Thanks very much. And thanks for the mic.
Picture with our law enforcement guys. Senator. No problem. Just one nice one to have. Come on, old man.
You guys need that. I got the
Come on.
Okay, ready? Got it. Try and get this again.
Yes, sir. We got to go. Excuse me. I'm going with you.
Just give him some room, you guys. This cut is long.
But I think that Governor Granholm in Michigan and I understand that the people of our respective states deserve to have their votes respected. As we know here in Florida, almost 90 miles south of Key West, there's a place called Cuba where people don't have their precious right to vote in free, open, and fair elections. And after I talked with Governor Granholm, we issued a statement together that the people of our respective states deserve to have their vote respected in the delegates seated at the conventions. Senator Nelson feels the same way. I talked to him yesterday as well. And Bill said, look, what the right thing is to do, if anybody even talks about the notion of redoing an election, he said the Democratic National Committee ought to pay for it because the taxpayers of Florida have already paid for one. And he's right. I agree with him.
So the state would not help defray the cost of another election for the Democrats.
No, we got a tight budget year as it is, Michael, and we've already paid for one, and it was a good election, and I think that Senator Nelson's idea is right on. First and foremost, it would be best to seat the delegates based upon the vote that's already occurred in Florida. If there's disagreement on that and somebody wants to reschedule an election, then the Democratic National Committee should pay for it.
Have you spoken directly with Howard Dean?
Thank you.
Howard Dean, have you spoken